Good morning, guys. I am so happy to be here with you again. Welcome to the podcast No More Secrets. I'm Christa. I am a recovering addict after an addiction from 35 years. And I'm here to share my story about my recovery, about my life, about my lows, about my highs, and sharing the things I do to stay in recovery and sharing my story. So I hope to inspire and motivate you that recovery is possible, and that you're not alone. And today I wanted to talk about some questions I got from some people that saw my podcast and would like me to answer some questions. So I'm going to do that. Because it's not always um, a really good happening when you're in recovery. Sometimes you have really bad cravings. I experience that a lot. I notice now I am already now 10 and a half months clean and sober, and I experience now that I'm getting more in balance. I don't have a lot of cravings anymore. And for example, yesterday there was an emergency happening over here, and there was something wrong with somebody I love very much. And my experience prior, like a month, 2 months ago, was that when something happened that was really intense and really sad, that my cravings, my addiction voice was shouting so loud that drugs was the solution, but it's never the solution, of course. But your addiction voice tells you that almost every day. For me, I always have the picture in my head that my addiction is standing before my front door and doing push-ups, waiting for me to have a weak moment and that I would relapse, but I still didn't relapse. And you can't say I am never going to relapse because it's just for today. It's one of the most powerful sentences in recovery. Is just for today, because then you don't have to think about tomorrow. You don't have to think about what's happening in a month, or you don't have to think about like I can never drink, I can never use medications anymore, I can never use drugs anymore, or whatever your addiction was. And for me, I always talk about how it feels for me. And for me, it feels like when I wake up in the morning and I say up loud, just for today, Chris, just for today, you're not gonna use anything. And that helps me so, so much. So, yeah, my advice for you is try to keep it only just for today. Last weekend, the topic of the meeting, I always go to an NA meeting, Narcotica Anonymous, and a CA meeting is an Cocaine Anonymous, because I was addicted to cocaine, to fentanyl, to oxycodone, to benzos, to sleeping pills, to weed, ecstasy, MDMA. Well, a lot of substances I was addicted to. And for me, it helps a lot to go to meetings because, a year ago and the last 35 years, I was always high or still awake in the weekends and never fit, never had energy. I was always numbing everything. And now I'm sitting on a meeting on Saturday morning and on Sunday morning, and that helps me through the weekend. And a really good experience, and it's also for me a really big lifeline, because then you hear people sharing their story that are longer in recovery, and that gives me also hope. That's why I'm doing this podcast, to give people hope and to motivate and inspire them. And so I'm gonna answer one question. I have three questions. What were the challenges I faced during my struggle with addiction? Well, The challenges I faced during my addiction were that all my energy went to stay in addiction and to keep it a secret, because that's why my podcast has the name No More Secrets. I was addicted in secrets behind closet doors, so nobody knew how heavily addicted I was. You know, people knew that I took medications for my shoulder because I was a pain patient, and people knew that I smoked a joint sometimes because I always said, "Yeah, I smoke it for the pain," and but they didn't know the real reason, and they didn't know that I used so much more than they knew. So all my strength went to keeping it a secret. So that was for me really a big struggle, because sometimes, you know, I got caught almost when I was snoring coke. I was in my bedroom, and you know, then I heard somebody came up, and oh, then I freaked out, you know. So all that, always having my guard up, always yeah, was scared that somebody caught me at in that moment. So that, I think that was my biggest struggle, and also not able to make appointments, you know, because I never knew how I was feeling Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday, and especially the last 4 years before my recovery. I snort coke every day. I was really, yeah, the coke devil really had me totally in his power, and um, yeah, that was really a struggle, because I always said I'm never gonna do that. I'm never gonna use that, and yeah, I tried it one time when I felt very tired because of a really terrible event 4 years ago in my life, and I only had nightmares from that. So I couldn't function anymore in the daytime. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna try that, and yeah, and in a month I use it every day. So yeah, people, I really want to say to you, please don't ever start with that. Don't ever do that. You know, I can't say never ever do drugs, but I really want to say, don't you ever do drugs or medications or something when it's not necessary. Because also the medications, you know, I used them for 30 years, and well, not use them, abuse them, because I always got them from my GP. I always get a prescription, and yeah, that was insane, of course. And I used so much more than I was allowed to use. So the combination with uppers and downers really damaged my short-term memory. And yeah, I have to live with that. You know, I have to own it. I have to. I went through the process to forgive myself, because it's really necessary when you go in recovery, because yeah, a lot of addicts are people that are going in recovery struggling with the guilt. For me especially, I was really struggling with the shame. I was so fucking ashamed, because yeah, you know, I'm a mom. I had my own store. I was an assistant teacher on the school of my children, and I was never clean. Never. I used every day of my life from the age of 13. So yeah, the shame for me was the thing that kept me in my addiction. So when I got clean and sober on the 24th of August last year, 2023, I still was ashamed, because nobody knew how heavily addicted I was. So in my mind, I couldn't tell anybody that I was getting clean and sober. So I was scared to go to my GP. I was scared to go to a rehab facility, because then people would find out. So yeah, so after 5 months, when I was on willpower, clean and sober, in January this year, 2024, I went to a seminar in somewhere. It was a 3-day seminar, and it was all about neuro-linguistics programming. So that means resetting your brain, your memories, and yeah, it was very, very interesting. And on the third day, on Sunday, the speaker of the event, we were there with 1,200 people, and I didn't know anybody. I went there every day all alone. It was from 8 in the morning till 8 in the evening. It was very, very intense. But my whole interests changed when I got clean. And I was always interested in the brain and how you could reset that. But because I was so heavily addicted, I never pursued anything like that. So yeah, and then a speaker walked in the crowd in the audience, and he tapped me on my shoulder and asked me if I wanted to share my story. Um, so I was, oh my God, what am I going to do? But my strong voice said, okay, Chris, this is your opportunity to be open and honest. So I went on the stage and I told my story for 1,200 strange people I had never seen before, only the 2 days prior. And I told them I'm a single mom from four. I'm now 5 months in a clean and sober from an addiction of 35 years. And the whole audience stood up and went clapping, applauding. And I was like, wow. So at that moment, I broke all the chains of my shame, everything. Because, if you tell your story to 1,200 people. So when I drove home the next day, I called some people close to me and my children, and I told them the truth. And of course, I lost people, and I totally understand. I hope they can forgive me one day. But yeah, it set me free. The truth will set you free. Really, it is. The truth will set you free. And from that moment, yeah, everything went so much better because then I reached out to a rehab facility. I did an evening treatment and went to meetings, started to get to meetings. Yeah. And for me, really, the meetings, yeah, I love it. I love going there. I love hearing the stories. I love the honesty when people relapsed and committed again to the program. And yeah, for me, it helps a lot. So I really, 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 please ask for help. Please go to your GP. I told my GP after 6 months I was clean and sober that I stopped with everything. And she said, why? Were you addicted? I said, yeah, I was heavily addicted. So even to her, I was felt free to tell her. So yeah, and it really set me free. And now I'm sharing content on my TikTok, on my Facebook, Instagram, on everything, and hope to connect with people because when you're going in recovery, connection is so important. And I realized that when I drove home from the seminar, I thought, I can't do it all by myself anymore because willpower isn't enough. you know there are exceptions, of course. Some people will go through it and stay clean and sober only on willpower, but I think recovery is the most important thing, to stay clean and sober, because you have to heal your traumas. You have to go to the forgiveness part. You have to surrender. You have to acknowledge that you're powerless to your addiction, and that you need something more, a higher power, a source, whatever. And yeah, that's what I do. So yeah, so that were my challenges during my addiction, to keep it a secret, and yeah, arranged that I had money for it. And yeah, that were the biggest challenges. And also the challenge were to not commit suicide, because I hated myself, full of shame. I always wished when I went to sleep. I wished I didn't wake up the next morning. That's how I felt my whole life, suicidal as fuck. And look at me now, every day when I wake up, it's a blessing to be alive for me. And that doesn't mean that every day is easy or I don't have struggles. I have a lot of personal issues, not about myself, but about the people around me. And yeah, that can be sometimes very, very tough. But you know what? Because now I allow my feelings to be there, I allow to feel my feelings. And that's such a different thing than what I did when I was still addicted. Because when I felt something, then I took medications. I went drinking. I went partying. My excuse was always, I wanna dance because then I wanna dance my tension off and my stress off. And I really thought when I came home after 2 days, of course, because to an after party, and well, I think people that can relate to this understand how it goes. And then you come home and then you feel like crap again, but then 10,000 times worse. So that isn't a solution. You have to go through your feelings. You have to, because you grow through it also. So, but the second question was, what was my turning point? Well, I shared it in previous episodes also. My turning point really was, like what they say, the rock bottom. I really hit rock bottom, and damn hard, really, really hard. Yeah, my rock bottom was that in 2023 I needed to have a surgery, a really, really heavy surgery. Um, so the recovery of the surgery was also very tough. The doctor told me, and well, with my old friends, they would help because I'm alone with my children and don't see my family anymore for a long time. So yeah, we had to think about a solution, that how did it go, because I wasn't able to go out of my bed for a few weeks. So yeah, and my children that were still living at home, my youngest two, they were only 16 and 11 years old at that time. So, well, okay, we arranged everything. I did my surgery, and everything what could have gone wrong went wrong. So, yeah, I ended up 3 times at the emergency rooms. The doctor didn't took me seriously. My friends didn't came. They bailed out. So I was alone with my two sons, and yeah, that was the moment that I thought, okay, I needed help. I wasn't used to get help all my life. I always did it by myself. Now I thought I was surrendering myself to the help of others, and they stood me up. So yeah, that was the point when I subconsciously, because now I know it was subconsciously, I thought, you see, that was the proof for myself. I wasn't worth it. I wasn't enough. I was a nobody. I was a loser. So so um, that's what confirmed for me. So I let other people's behaviors prove to myself that I was worthless and that I wasn't enough. So I started to snort coke again. And while I was so sick, I had a really high fever and needed another surgery. And but I went on and on and on. So at the end, I finally got the right medications, and I used a lot of my pain medications also. So the combination of cocaine, of all the pain medications, yeah, my body gave up. So I fainted from out of nothing a lot of times. And one day I fainted again in my bedroom, and I fainted and I hit my head to my bed, and I had a hole in my head, so my whole face with blood and everything. It's not a really nice story, but I want to be honest and I want to answer the questions. And my son heard a clap, because I live in an old house, everything is wood. So he heard it. So he came into my room and he saw me, and he was, of course, totally screaming, "Mom, mom!" And so he picked me up and brought me to the bathroom, and I passed out again. And so he called an ambulance, and we went to the hospital. I had a lot of research from the doctor, like an MRI from my brain, but I still didn't told anybody that I was heavily addicted to coke and to the pain medications, and that I combined them all day, so every day. And yeah, so at the end, when I came home from the hospital that time, I really, really said to myself, enough is enough. It's or you're going to get clean and sober, or you're gonna die. Is this what you wanna give as a trauma to your children? And then I made an agreement with myself that I would cut clean on the 21st of the 24th of August 2023 last year, and still here, clean and sober. And yeah, that was really my rock bottom, because I kept it so many years a secret for my children, for everybody in my environment. And at that moment, my son was witnessing it, and from up close. And yeah, that was for me the moment I thought, enough is enough. Enough is enough. So I cut the cord with the friends that were supposed to help me, and I got clean. And now I'm here sitting, and hope to inspire and motivate you to also go in recovery or stay in recovery. If you are a week in recovery and you're seeing this, know that it's possible. It's really possible. So yeah, guys. The third question, the last question: what kind of support did I find most helpful in my recovery? Well, that's a good question, because what I find most helpful is the meetings, speaking with my counselor, having a sponsor. A sponsor is somebody that is longer in recovery. I also doing the 12-step program, because I really, yeah, I'm really interested in what is able to come out of that, because I love to grow every day. I love to do a lot of inner work. I already did a lot of inner work, because what helped me a lot also in my recovery is, after 3 months I was clean and sober, I saw a man dancing on Instagram, I think, yeah, on Instagram. And he had captions above him, and the captions were like, they were written for me. And I started following him, and then found out that he had a transformational coaching program for 20 weeks. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to do that. And I did it, and it was the best decision in my life, because I already, in 7 months' time, I healed my inner child. I healed so much trauma. The things I'm healing today now are the things I experienced in my adult life. So yeah, that helped me a lot. So if you need support or whatever, seek a coach. I'm also now a recovery coach. I also um, have a program. And so if you're interested, send me an email or a DM on my socials. Yeah, so that helped me a lot, but especially the meetings and the connections with other fellows and fellas. Fellows and fellas are people that also go to meetings, because the connection and the love and the support that you feel in those communities, they are so huge. And you don't have to be ashamed of everything, because when you relapse, you can go to a meeting and share, I had a relapse. I'm back again here to commit myself again, and that keeps you out of your addiction. Because if you're relapse, a lot of people, because they're so ashamed that they relapse, because people do relapse. They relapse after 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. It's possibility always, because like I said before, the addiction is doing push-ups before your front door. So waiting for you to have a weak moment, you have to be consistent and be busy with your recovery every day. And every day when you wake up, choose just for today. I think if you do that the rest of your life, that you're going to be fine. And, after many years, I just spoke with somebody who's already 13 years in recovery, and somebody else already 18 years. And they told me that at the end, when you're longer in recovery, the cravings are less. Then it's only a thought. It goes to your mind and it goes away. And yeah, I can't wait for that moment. But I'm really enjoying this journey also, because I'm just cleaning up so much mess inside of me. And yeah, I changed my mindset totally. I never watch TV. I never watch the news, because it's never good news. Never. It's only bad news, and they're only planting seeds in your mind to feel anxiety, to feel depressed. And when I start not watching the news and listen to the news, I'm not bothered with all the problems I can't solve, because that's the truth. You can't solve. And yeah, so that's why I changed my mindset. I every morning I meditate. Every evening I meditate, because I had to seek something that was um, um, how do you say that was another solution for my pain, because I still have pain, but because I do special meditations, it's 95 percent reduced, so I don't need medications anymore. The doctors think that I'm lying, but it's really true, so I meditate, I say my positive affirmations, I do mirror work, I stand across the mirror and tell myself how proud I am of me, that I love myself. I tell where I commit myself to that day. But especially, what it is, when you wake up, the first 20 minutes when you wake up, your brain is still in a theta state, and a theta state is like that you dream in a dream. You're awake, but you're not awake. So that's the theta state, and everything that you consume in the first 20 minutes, they take your day. So you know consume good and positive things and not negative things. So yeah, so I always put on positive affirmations that you repeat. And yeah, look at me now, I'm enjoying life, I'm loving life, I'm on my mission to help people. And yeah, so guys, well, I hoped that I answered the questions okay, that it helps you also. It was a blessing to be here with you again. If you'd like to connect with me, send me an email. If you want to be a guest in my podcast and you want to share your story, your recovery story, send me an email to christa.connect@gmail.com, or send me a DM on TikTok or on Facebook or on Instagram, Christa Jorisen. JORISSEN. I will reply to you. And if you'd like to be my guest, please write me a little bit about your story. And yeah, then maybe you are my next guest in my podcast. And also, if you didn't subscribe yet, please subscribe, because that helps me to reach out to more people and to pursue my mission. And hit the like button, please. And yeah, it was really a blessing to be with you here again this week. I see you all next week. Don't you forget, you're worth it, you're enough, you're beautiful, you're loved, and you're deserving the best life that you can get, and that's waiting for you. So please go in recovery. If you want some more information about NACAAASLA, because there are a lot of communities, search on the internet. You can search it. There are meetings every day all over the world. And you don't have to identify yourself. Yeah, and it can really help you. Seek help, go to your GP, go to rehab, and know I'm here for you. And I wish you all a beautiful, clean, and sober week. Bye, everybody. Love you all.